City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. If I could get a roll call, please.
Here. Grote.
Here.
Jepson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Cronenberger.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Montgomery.
Here, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could get an approval of tonight's amended agenda.
Second.
Motion from Lundell, second from Johnson. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We're going to skip public input. Nobody signed up tonight. That leads us straight to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. Item A, just and correct claims, the accounting period that ended September 14th, 2023. Item B, meeting minutes for August 22nd, 2023, the City Council work session. Item C, meeting minutes for September 5th, 2023 City Council meeting. Item D, approve the hire of Sam Singh as the cable coordinator. Item E, Resolution 2700, accepting a monetary donation of $4,000 from Henkel Foundation to go to the Library Department. Item F, approve replacement quote from BDS to fix the door actuator of the handicap buttons here at City Hall. Item G, Resolution 2701, accepting a monetary donation of $680 from Pam Konetsko to the Parks Department. Item H, approve quote from River City Refrigeration to fix the air conditioning unit at City Hall. Item I, introduction and first reading of Ordinance 397, an ordinance of the City of Cannon Falls, Minnesota, amending City Code 152.355 relating to our signs. And item J, approve shade tree bonding program application. Is there anything the council would like to pull down? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve our consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Jepson. Can I get a second? Second. Second from Mr. Gesme. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Leads us on to council business. Item A, Timber Ridge. Zach, if you would like to take this one.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council. Before you tonight is the final plat and PUD for your review. The preliminary plat was brought to Planning Commission and then you guys the next day on August 15th. So we were just looking for approval of this final stage in our process. With approval tonight, we would also be looking for approval of the PUD agreement as well as the development agreement. And I would just like to point out on the last page of the legal description, after together with, it should read lots 1 through 8, and instead of block 4, it should read block 2. So with that, Mark is here with JMH Land, and we would entertain any questions you guys may have regarding the final plat.
Discussion or questions from the council?
Just one. This does not include what we discussed at the Planning Commission with the
What?
outlots.
The well and septic, yep, no, it does not.
Just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Thought it looked good.
We approve them separately.
Yeah, we'll do these individually. So, first one is Resolution 2702, approving the final plat and final PUD plan for Timber Ridge development.
So move.
Motion from Diane. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ryan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moves us on to item 2, approving the PUD agreement. Zach, do you need to read anything separate for this, or we'll just
Not really, no.
questions or comments for the PUD? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Mr. Gesme,
Second.
second from Ms. Grote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us to item 3, approve the development agreement. Questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, I'd take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Diane, do I have a second? Second from Laura. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moves us on to council Business item B, Resolution 2703, approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisements for bids. Bill, if you'd like to take this.
Thank you, Mayor. What we're asking tonight is approval of the resolution. This resolution will basically set our assessment process and our bidding process in place for what we are now calling the 2023/2024 street project. So this is a project that we initiated last December, and ultimately we broke it into two projects due to trouble with land acquisition. So the project that is occurring now, just north of the 3rd Street Bridge there in Cannon, so that was the first phase. So that's the lift station and the new pipe under the river, which is, I think, literally being built under the river as we speak. So that was the first phase. So the second phase here will be to basically construct the remainder of the streets. So it'll be Cannon, 3rd, and a portion of 4th. So what we're asking tonight is approving that resolution. That will mean that we will take bids on November 1st. We will then come back to the council on November 7th. And what we'll do at that meeting then is we will review the bids, and then we will set our public hearing. So I talked about this a little at our last meeting, that there are two hearings that take place in an assessment project. You held that first one already last December. The second one will be then with the actual numbers. So we were real clear to tell people, we don't know the actual assessments till we receive bids. So on November 7th, we will have actual numbers, and we will have that hearing then after that. That will be the chance where if someone would choose to contest their hearing, they would present their evidence to the council. And then at that point, most likely you will award a contract, and then we will start construction in the spring.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bill. Any questions or comments from the council? Diane?
Do you have any sense of how much more it's going to cost, or is that kind of just a?
So our estimate that we had when we started was 1.275 million. Neil and I have met, and we're right about the same. One of the things that we always struggle a little bit this time of year is what's next year's inflation. So we should expect some inflation. How much? I'm a little unknown at that point. We will be literally probably the first 2024 bid, which I think is a good spot to be.
Excellent.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Lundell, second from Gesme. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moves us on to item C, professional service agreement for John Birch Park, the Wall Project. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, I feel like I should have Laura talk about this one because she spent most of the time on this one. So this is the engineering agreement to basically design the wall, which the city received the state bonding bill for. So this, for those of you that have been out to John Birch Park, the third base line is being currently worked on by the Friends of John Birch Park. The first base side is what we'll be doing next year, basically I'll call it the crumbling wall. This replaces the crumbling wall. It will also redo the dugout, and basically reshape that whole side of the field. One of the first things that we'll be doing is we've had a fair number of meetings with the Friends of John Birch Park, is get basically the stakeholders together and consolidate some of our ideas or their ideas as well, and then over the winter design it, and then with the plan to come back to you late winter, early spring, and just what we just did, you'll approve plans and you'll go out to bid. So we are where we need to be right now on this project. Laura, I think, just submitted the grant application paperwork to the state, so we should be rolling.
Are you optimistic on the 2024 finished dead?
Well, this time of year, I'm always optimistic. Until you get into the bidding climate and you see what bidders, what the workload is, what we're hearing right now is that there are people really looking for work. So for example, Hardwood Estates, I think we have 15 general contractors on our plan holders list.
Oh.
Now, will we get 15 bids? No, but we should get a good amount. So that looks to bode well for us.
I know at one point we talked about trying to incorporate the limestone in the new design. Do you know if that's something that's still being considered? Or?
So we had our structural engineer look at that. And we went out with various members of the baseball group there, and most of that limestone is not structurally sound.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is try to come up with a salvage it, and maybe at the end of the wall, towards the outfield and right field, assemble some rocks
Something
or
small.
stones, yeah.
Okay.
But if anybody has any ideas, one of the things we've talked about is what are some ideas? So we'd be happy to entertain some thoughts.
Well, any leftovers we can put in Derek's yard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Questions from the council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve our professional service agreement for John Birch Park and the Wall Project.
So moved.
Second?
Motion from Jepson, second from Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. That gets us to our reports. We'll start with the chamber. Maggie.
There we go. Good evening, council and mayor. Couple updates here from the chamber. Within the next week or so, hopefully you guys will see some scarecrows start popping up around town. We've been encouraging businesses to put scarecrows up, and we'll have a little friendly competition of who has the best. We'll eventually put pictures out on our Facebook page for the community to vote on. So just something fun to spruce up downtown Cannon Falls during the fall. Just to point out some upcoming events, next Saturday, there is a Pumpkin Patch Mission Harvest sponsored by Spring Garden Church. That information can be found on the Chamber's website and Spring Garden Church's website as well. The following weekend, there's a lot of fun events coming up that I'd like everyone to notice. You can also, just a reminder that all these events are always posted on our community events calendar, which can be found on the Chamber's website, and then I always post a link to the Facebook page on Fridays as well. But the weekend of the 30th, there's a Ferndale Fall Fest, which will be a big event. It's also Tillian's Oktoberfest, and then the Education Foundation has their poker social that night as well. So it should be a busy, fun night in downtown Cannon Falls. Save the date for the Trick or Treat Trot that the Chamber sponsors every year. This year, we are doing it on October 27th, so it's not on Halloween, it's the Friday before Halloween. So it'll be from 3 to 5 p.m. And then the school's PTO Halloween party actually follows our event that same night. And then lastly, the Deck the Falls Committee is asking for community contributions for this year's Deck the Falls. So if any of our community members are interested in donating, you can contact me at the Chamber, or there's a link to pay online at the Chamber website as well. So, any questions? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. The EDA met on September 7th. Laura, would you like to talk about that?
Hardwood Estates is out for bid right now. I guess that was kind of our main thing. So we'll get those back and open bids on the 27th. So that is kind of what we're waiting for. And then we'll have a better idea as to what the price of the lots will be. As far as just other updates that I have, I just wanted to let everyone in the community know that Keller Bartman, they are taking applications for the apartments, even though it doesn't look like it's done on the outside or the inside. They are taking applications, and they're for sure at least a third full, I know. As far as leased, I don't know the exact number yet. There's folders here at City Hall, and I know some of the realtors also have folders if anyone wants information on that. And the other thing, I was at a meeting at the school yesterday morning, and the superintendent had mentioned that the school is going to be having an open house for on the 27th for a tour of the new CTE area that they just upgraded over the summer, and then also the Innovation Lab that was also upgraded. So that'll start at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 27th. That'll be open to the community too. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Park Board. Derek?
Yep, didn't have too much talked about. The VFW wanted to have cars down by the duck pond, and then those benches that were donated.
All right. Thank you. Public Works, that was the same day, September 7th.
Go for it.
I can do it. There wasn't much area there. Main thing was just the, that door that we had to get
Consent
fixed.
agenda.
Yep, that was on consent. That's it.
Library Board met on September 11th.
I didn't make that meeting.
Okay, all right. Planning Commission, September 11th.
Planning Commission met September 11th. We had 2 public hearings, one for Leon Endres on the Timber Ridge on the outlots about maybe having private wells and septics. We tabled that. We're going to do some more digging on that before we opened up that can of worms. And then we had a public hearing on putting sponsorships on signs at the ballparks and the school on the scoreboards.
Okay.
And so we just approved that first reading tonight on the consent agenda. We heard some input from Greg Kurtz of the Cannon Valley Fair, putting up an electronic sign. There was no action taken on that. And that was about it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and one
You got
other
one more?
thing,
All right.
one other thing, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We had talked about Zach getting a moratorium spelled out for the old nursing home to make sure that, huh? Oh, yes. And we also asked for 2 members to join the planning commission. We lost one, and we've always been running one short, so. That was it.
All right, thank you. Jed, you got anything from Public Works?
Bill kind of hit on it earlier. They're boring across today. They have, I think their bore is to the river. They are hoping to get under the river tonight, and things should line up. It's been quite the process. They've had rock and then sand and then gravel, and it's thrown this is about their 7th attempt to go through, but we're actually on a pretty good path. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Jed. Bill?
72nd Avenue Way feasibility report. As we sit today, we'll bring that back to the council the first meeting in October. We've been talking internally. Anytime we are going to do an assessment project for roads that are partially built, there's a few extra steps to go through. So I think Neil will be talking with the Finance Committee on that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Zach, anything you'd like to add?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Laura, anything else?
No.
All right. Lieutenant Berg? Sarah? Neil?
Well, I was going to talk about the 72nd Way, but Bill beat me to it, so. But they are going to start the swimming pool tomorrow, swimming pool parking lot. So they'll grind that up this week and shape it and then pave it next week. We've been working on, Steve and Lisa and I have been working on union contracts over the last, month or so. We're making headway, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And we've got another meeting coming up next week. That's all I got. Thank you.
Great. Laura, let's start with you.
Just wanted to relay some kind of, well, I think it's fun, community might not. So the Police Commission, Wendy Rober is our chair, and she worked with the Goodhue County to get a speed sign that they no longer wanted donated to the city of Cannon Falls. So that is from a community, well, I mean, I think it's good. People driving might not like it, but we had been talking about purchasing one and how much it would cost. So she was able to work with them to get it donated to us. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure we'll have to have it formally approved to have the donation, and I think that we have to get it logoed or something before we can start using it. But I thought that was good. And then the Police Commission is going to start meeting on a regular basis to finalize or really firm up how the city wants to, what we want to recommend to council on marijuana ordinances. So more to come on that. That's it.
Thank you. Lisa?
Nothing for me.
Ryan?
Nothing.
Derek? Diane?
As long as you brought up that 72nd Avenue Way, because that's separate from the EDA development thing. And so that will have to go through the same process that we had for the Cannon Street project?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
that was all I had.
Steve?
Well, just, we approved that, the final plat for Timber Ridge. And I'm kind of excited getting something going there.
Yeah.
After all these years and years and years. It'll be nice to see something finally get in there. Somebody sticking their neck out a little bit and getting something going there. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Steve. This last weekend was the Bago tournament at John Birch Park. I want to thank the Bears. That was an absolutely wonderful event. I think there were 220 roughly people there that were competing, having so much fun. John Birch Park is really drawing attention for the community, and I think it's a good cause, and we talked a lot about the wall. Great event, second year. I hope it continues, and I know that some people have said, you know, it almost doubled in size. Maybe next year it'll do the same. So put it on your calendars next fall. It's more fun, more people there. Really good time. The same day, the VFW had their hog roast. I heard that was a great event. Obviously, we knew about that, closing down the road and letting them get the cars and everything down there. So another great event. To the community, we do need people to be involved. Our public works, we're a couple short. Our library board is short, and police commission is short one as well. Fill out those applications right here at City Hall. Then it will come across and Sarah's desk and then be forwarded along, and we can make the process. But community involvement is what makes this stuff work. So we need people to be willing to be involved and let their voices be heard. Last thing, the school survey. Everybody should have it in the mail by now. I'm just a big proponent of getting the information out there and getting the feedback from the community of how the school district, the residents who live here feel about what they're asking. What's in the survey is asking how the school is doing performance in various areas, but also getting the information out there on their project for turfing the athletic field there at the school, and then putting another road into the elementary. I know there's a lot of parents with the pickup and drop off of one way in, one way out. Things can get pretty bogged down. So they're looking at what it would take to get another spot off in and out on Highway 19, which will be right across from Hardwood Estates, somewhat, right near the edge of their property. But should have that information from the survey. I just ask as many people to fill that out so that they can get an accurate assessment of how the community feels about these projects. All right. With that said, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion from Lisa, second from Diane. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.